This NBA playoff picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits.
What's up? It's the most must-see WWE superstar of all time, The Miz, and you are watching SGPN, and it is awesome. Let it ride.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Can we play the breaking news?
Yes.
Please? He lived a good life on this planet as a NFL player, as a man, as a not graduate of the University of Florida. Kadarius Toney has left this earth today, Sean, and going forward, he will be young Joka. So shout out to Kadarius Toney. Had a great career.
God, that bastard. The one of the 3 games, and we were doing the math before the show of how many games Kadarius Toney had that were good. One of them, unfortunately, came against the Eagles in Super Bowl 52 with that punt return. Then I think he got a touchdown as well, unguarded. God, what a nightmare! The guy shows up 3 games in his career, and one of them, unfortunately, helped cost the Eagles a Super Bowl, but we got it back. We got our lick back. Yeah, super excited. We were talking NBA playoffs. See, the chat is lit. A shout out to Jong, chat legend. Haven't seen Jong in a live show in a while. Good to see him checking in.
Motherfucker's been AWOL.
And of course, if you haven't heard, we are running a free NBA playoffs contest. Very simple. Pick every NBA playoff game against the spread. Winner take all. $1,000 up for grabs. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA playoffs. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA playoffs. Very simple, very easy. Just pick it all and winner take all. Excited. I'm jacked up. Don't have to deal with the Sixers bullshit. They're gone. Hopefully they get Cooper Flag, but hey, joining us on the line to talk all things association from the NBA Gambling Podcast and the WNBA Gambling Podcast, which is about to come back. It is Scott Reichel and Terrell Furman. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Scott, how are we feeling?
Yeah, doing pretty well. Can't complain. I believe I swept the lock and dog picks in the last episode.
Yes.
So doing pretty well there. Looking forward to breaking down some games.
Yeah, good. Very to the point, and got his tout in. I'm looking at the sheet. I think we all did pretty well. Unfortunately, I was the only one who got the lock wrong with Golden State laying the 7. They fumbled that at the end. But Mavs money line, Kramer and I were on that. Kramer
Easy
also
money.
Tied it into Anthony Davis over points. So that was a nice.
And talk about the parlay too.
That's what I said. Tied it into the Anthony Davis over points with a nice juicy parlay. Terrell, good to see you. You had Butler 20 points plus and Golden State on the money
that wasn't
line.
The parlay I was talking about. The money line parlay that I was made fun of repeatedly.
What?
By you, Golden State, Orlando.
When did I make fun?
You laughed at me doing 2 money lines because I was being a coward.
I thought obviously Golden State -7 would get home. But I'm happy with my choices there. Terrell, how we doing? How we feeling NBA playoffs?
Oh, we're good. We're rolling. I mean, things except for the Bulls just completely crapping the bed on us, but we're doing all right over here.
I made a note for next year. Fade the Bulls in the playoffs.
They keep getting into the playing game and keep getting destroyed. We'll see if they ever figure it out.
There's a stat. There's a stat where over the past couple of seasons, I think Miami is 2-8 in the regular season against the Chicago Bulls. In the play-in, 3-0.
Yeah, they just own them. It's Spo just does well in these playing games. And we're gonna start there. So what we'll do is we're streaming this live Friday afternoon. Gonna knock out the play-in games. Then we'll talk series and then game 1. So a lot to get to. Kramer, what's the first game up?
Well, we again Friday night. Those Hawks who seem to be kind of like the Heat in the play-in. They survive in advance, maybe. The Heat there as well. -1, -112 on the money line for the Hawks at home. 221's the total. Scott, two teams that probably don't need to be in the playoffs at all. But which one will advance for the right to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Miami. I think Miami is the better overall team. I broke this game down more in depth with Alante earlier today. I think at the end of the day, Atlanta, yes, you're relying on Trae Young, which can be a dangerous proposition, but I think at the end of the day, I just don't like their supporting cast that much. You're looking at the injuries to Jalen Johnson. You're looking at Capella, who's also not going to play. They don't have many guys that you kind of fear on the offensive end, and we saw that against Orlando. They also don't guard anybody. One of the worst defenses in the league post All-Star break. Miami, though, beat a pretty similar team stylistically with Chicago handily in the last game, and I do think that they should be able to look pretty sharp once again. Spoelstra will give the coaching edge as well over Quinn Snyder, but not going too in-depth here. I think Miami's the better team. I think they play defense, and I do like their scoring depth. Hero and crazy against Chicago. They also have Bam. They also have Ware. They have a lot of guys who I think can contribute in other ways. At Atlanta supporting cast, really a bunch of, I'd say, mediocre players. I'll put it that way. But I think Miami's the better overall roster. Give me Miami to get the job done this game.
Co-signing with Scott. Give me the Miami Heat. Yeah, this Atlanta Hawks team, you saw the frustration of Trae Young acting very childlike towards the end of that Warriors game. And of course, or no, sorry, not Warriors. Oh God, why am I blanking?
The Magic game?
Yes, the Magic game. I just think this is we see this playoff heat culture. Now I'm sure they're going to hit the wall when they actually have to play the Cavs. Maybe they steal a game or so, but I think Heat get this done. Love fading the Hawks at home. They're never a good team ATS at home. And to your point, Scott, there was like a little window there where they were like a frisky East team when they had Jalen Johnson, but they've never found that magic again. All over the Heat. Terrell, can you make a case for the Hawks?
No, not absolutely not. I need a team that plays defense here, and the Hawks don't like to do that. And the Heat actually have been really, really good defending over the past 10 games coming down the stretch to get to this spot. So I like the Heat here, play some good defense here on the road and be able to beat the Hawks. Although Trae Young probably does have a day. Like Trae Young probably does try to muscle this team out to a win, but I just think at the fourth quarter, they're not going to be able to get enough stops.
Taylor's longest time. Atlanta doesn't have a home crowd either. Yeah. And you meant to say play-in culture, right?
Yes.
Play-in culture.
What did I say?
Playoff culture.
You're right. This is officially the play-in. The stats.
I know
we don't know where they go.
You don't want the trolls coming after you for not knowing ball.
Yes,
these stats are not playoffs, please.
So Kramer, you're on the Heat, right?
I like it. ESPN puts up a disclaimer. It's like, Jesus, relax with the stats. No one cares anymore.
Kramer, you are a bet splits guy. Forrest in the chat pointing out 80% of the bets on the Heat.
Yeah, no, this is an obvious spot where you would want to, and I think. I mean, what we're picking this at +1. Will the number flip around? I assume.
I think some places have Heat as the favorite. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking right now. Yeah, DK does. Yeah. So, no, not worried about bet splits this close to a pick 'em in a basketball game where we're just picking a winner. Sean,
let's go.
I'm with you guys. Mavericks, Grizzlies. This is the second game Friday night. Mavs. I mean, again, the best narrative here is that the Mavs go on a hell of a run. A hell of a run.
Stick it
to Nico. Got to get something good to come out of this season.
Nico needs the full career arc or the full season arc in the last couple of games here. Memphis -6, -240. Mavs +198, 221.5. Terrell, we're gonna keep the narrative going, right? Or do we bring the toy grenades into the actual playoffs?
Oh, dude, they packed for 8 days when they left for Sacramento. They packed for 8 days. Yes, they packed for 8 days. So no, I'm not fading the Mavericks here. I'm taking the points and I'm taking them on the money line. I think that they have a really, really good chance. And if you saw that lineup that they put out there with Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, that's a really, really long lineup. No point guards. Like that's going to be tough to defend. They're going to get into passing lanes and be able to force turnovers and get out in transition. And I just don't trust this Memphis team. And we talked about the coaching matchup in the game before that with Eric Spoelstra. Jason Kidd has been to 2 conference finals and the NBA finals now. He has a lot of playoff games under his belt. And here you go. You have a new young European head coach taking over mid-season for the Grizzlies. I just don't think he's ready. He might be a little bit in over his head. So yeah, I'm all over the Mavericks here.
Co-signing everything Terrell said. I mean, I think this Mavs team is live on the money line. Love what I saw out of AD. He's got enough rest to get it done here. And yeah, we'll see what happens, assuming they win this game in the actual playoff, not the play in. But I think somehow them being on the road is a nice stress release in some ways, because they don't have to deal with the home crowd chanting "Fire Nico." They don't have to deal with all that stuff. And Anthony Davis, rightly so, has a chip on his shoulder. Everyone said like this was the worst trade of all time. Hey, you got Anthony Davis.
He's the other side of it.
Anthony Davis certainly has a high ceiling. Obviously, we know the injuries, everything else. But Terrell, yeah, they're very long. And then Ja Morant he rolled his ankle. I'm sure he's going to play. They'll shoot him up. He'll take some whatever, but will he be 100%? And this Grizzlies team has really struggled. I mean, they got their coach fired, and it's not like they've looked great since. And the lack of experience in big moment games with the new head coach, interim coach who's coached like 10 games. Love the Mavs here, especially the +6, but the money line's live, I think, as well. Scott, can you talk us off the Mavs?
Yeah, so a part of me wanted to take Memphis going in, but then Ja rolled his ankle, and now I feel like I really can't lay 6.5, not knowing if he's going to play. We saw he ended up coming back into the game against Golden State, but he was a pure decoy. He stood in the corner the entire time while Bane was running most of the offense. So if Ja ends up playing, I'm not sure how effective he's going to be, especially for a player who relies so heavily on his athleticism, and now he's going to be basically on 1 foot out there. Not ideal. I do think Dallas possesses some serious matchup problems for Memphis, especially the size on the interior, because Memphis is very, I'd say, focused on getting downhill and getting into the paint. Memphis in the season averaged the second most points in the paint per game, and now you have to deal with Gafford and Anthony Davis. If you want to throw in PJ Washington too, Dallas can at least take away the ease that Memphis tends to score near the rim at. And I do think with Ja potentially missing this game or being severely compromised, I do think defensively they can do enough to keep this game close. 6.5's a lot. I understand if Ja was going to be playing and he was fully healthy, and that way you might want to lay 6.5. But with Ja potentially being a decoy, even if he does play, he might not play well. 3 possessions is a lot when your best player might not play in the game. I'll go with Dallas plus the points. I feel like Memphis put together a good showing against the Warriors. They hung in there. They were down 20. At least the game was close. But their inexperienced coach couldn't draw up an inbound play, which is not exactly, I'd say, instilling much confidence in me that Memphis is going to be a well-coached team for this game. Jason Kidd might be flawed, but as Terrell said before, he's got a pretty decent coaching resume. Good enough for me. I'll take the Mavericks to keep this game close.
If I was Anthony Davis's people, I'd start reminding people that he was so good in college. He brought John Calipari a national championship, something that he has fumbled the bag on multiple times.
Don't remind me of my Arkansas
multiple times. Let's. I love this narrative. I mean, NBA is a narrative-based thing. Imagine if they go further than the Lakers. Oh
no, that would be that would be hilarious.
We need to find a way to bet on that.
Hey, of course, shout out to Edge Boost. Ever had your deposit blocked by your bank right before big bet? Ever needed cash at 2 a.m. for another shot at the tables? Of course. Edge Boost has your back. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors. Edge Boost gives you fast, reliable access to your funds, making it easier to move money when and where you need it without the delays that come with traditional banks. For you high rollers, you can move up to $250,000 a day on your Edge Boost Visa debit card with unlimited withdrawals. This works 24/7 for instant deposits. Never wait for a wire to clear. Again, it gets better. Every time you deposit into a qualified gambling account, you earn cashback rewards up to 0.5%. All this for no usage fees and no minimum balance. Edge Boost is a debit account that makes it easy to get started with no credit checks, no minimum balance, and no usage fees. Simply verify your identity and you're ready to go. Finally, Edge Boost has a suite of responsible gambling tools to help you manage your bankroll and make informed decisions. What are you waiting for? Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN, edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Sign up for Edge Boost today. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code SGPN. Get a little profit boost left and right. They're always tossing them at you. And deposit match. You get up to $1,000 in bonus credits using the promo code SGPN. We'll kick it over to Terrell and Scott here. Guys, anything you like underdog wise for the play-in games here. Zach Edey rebounds has been a machine. As soon as they fired Taylor Jenkins, I'm seeing total rebounds 16, 13, 21, 19, 9, 16. I think he had 17 in the first play-in game. They've moved it up to 12.5. I still like the higher. Scott, I see you thinking. Do you like that, or do you like something better?
I'm just concerned about foul trouble when it comes to Edey. Like, I was trying to think of how many minutes he would have to play for me to feel good about that bet cashing. And he might get the Anthony Davis matchup, maybe, but
you're right.
Dallas has so much size, and Edey was in foul trouble against Golden State anyway. It just concerns me, wondering if he ends up in foul trouble 5 minutes into the game, is your bet dead? And it might be. So that's kind of the problem I run into here with Edey. I think, once again, if you want to back the trends, then you take it, but I don't think it's the best matchup for him. I would rather go elsewhere personally. The play I like tonight, which I'll actually go with for the other game, I'll go with a fade, actually. Give me the Trae Young lower, 11.5 assists in this game. It's a massive number. For when you're thinking of the game plan that Miami might throw at Atlanta, they did it for Giddey. They dared Giddey to score. They held him to 4 assists. We know Trae's at his best when he gets his teammates involved. We know his shooting can be inefficient at times. But I am wondering what Miami's game plan is going to be, because it's Trae and a bunch of guys you aren't too thrilled about. So does Miami just let Trae go crazy or try to offensively with points and limit the other guys? They might. So I think that Trae, 11.5 assists in an elimination game is massive. I'll go with the lower on his 11.5 assists.
I think you're right, Scott. I think they could try and bait him into doing it all himself. And they figure like, oh, he's hobbling around out there. Sure. Give him, and, guard the guys that he's going to try and distribute to, and make him beat him by putting the team on his back. So I'm with you. I like the lower 11.5 assists. Terrell, do you got an angle for the underdog entry?
I think he's on mute.
Yeah. Let's go with Daniel Gafford here. We talked about the bigs in that earlier game. I like Daniel Gafford higher, 8.5 points. I think that Edey and Lively probably will cancel each other out a lot here in this game, especially on the boards and on the glass, guarding each other. And I am afraid of Edey in terms of foul trouble, because not only can AD, but Gafford likes to attack in the post and get inside the lane. And plus, he can run with Memphis. And I think that's where he'll get a lot more playing time in this game. If Memphis starts making this an up and down game, Gafford can keep up, and Lively not so much. So I like Daniel Gafford to go higher, 8.5 points here.
Love it. So Gafford higher, 8.5 points. Trae Young lower, 11.5 assists. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. Kramer, what are the series looking like?
Where was you just scrapped your idea?
Yes. Okay. Scott talked me out of it.
He's very professional in talking.
No,
I'm not against the idea. I just have so much of a foul trouble concern for the game. It's just such a question mark for Edey.
No, to Scott's point, the fact that he's going up against Anthony Davis, Lively, maybe even some Gafford, they will put him out there, but he could get taken out because of foul trouble. So, good angle. I liked his angle.
Great angle.
And they did move it from 10.5 to 12.5, which 10.5, it would be a lock, but 12.5, I still, if I had to choose, I'd go higher, but
that was great coaching. I mean, Scott should almost start recording videos and serving them up over on CoachTube.
Oh yes. We did a whole,
we learned about a website called CoachTube last night, where it's just coaches selling material,
coaching videos. We were doing
so
a deep
are
dive.
Are you starting a youth soccer and youth volleyball package, or how's that?
Oh, that's actually a great idea. I think most coaches, they just need a little bit of a practice plan and some motivational speech concepts to go to.
Here's how you cut up the oranges.
Great idea, Scott. That's part of what you got to do. You delegate that shit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Best to have a wife or someone else on the team to handle that kind of. The coach needs to focus on coaching. All right, let's start in the East. Bucks, Pacers, the 4-5 matchup. Pacers are laying 1.5 plus money on their side there, plus 114, minus 198 on the money line, and then 5.5 is the total with heavy juice on the over. So expectation 6 games or more there. Futures, Pacers 80-1 to win it all, 23-1 to win the conference. Bucks 60-1 to win the conference, 170-1 to win it all. But all of these futures are absolute clown show. You look at the NBA futures board and you're like, really? The fuck is going on here? Wait till we get to the West and we talk about the 2 seed.
Well, the West is way more interesting as far as like future stuff.
It seems like futures are just at this point in this conference. I've been told step away from the situation. And then as far as the series, in general, I think you're always looking for opportunities where, okay, I can get a cheap +1.5 with a Bucks team. Why wouldn't I just take that? This is complete layman handicap here, but Scott, is that the intelligent handicap here?
Yeah, for me, I know a lot of people want to take Indiana. Now there's an interesting wrinkle that happened because Lillard might actually come back in this series. We'll see how many games he misses. He has to ramp up recovery, whatever that means. I mean, they're going to let him practice and see how long it takes for him to be ready to play games, I guess. So he might end up coming back for game 3, game 4, maybe. Who knows? But that's kind of TBD there on his availability. I went a bit bolder here. I got Milwaukee for this one in the series. I'm willing to take a spin.
Yeah.
These two teams are teams I don't trust at all, and one team's getting a lot of plus money. But I feel like you're looking at a Pacers team that had a good run last year, beat Milwaukee. Serious asterisk next to it, though. Giannis barely played, Dame barely played. It really doesn't matter much. I'm kind of tossing that out. But I like how Milwaukee played to end the season. They're one of the hottest teams in the league to end the regular season, and I do think Giannis is an unguardable player for Indiana. They can't match up against them. Giannis might walk into 37 a game in this series, and I would be surprised at all. Indiana, though, there's one frustrating aspect of this team that really just makes me distrust them. They really no-show a lot of halves of basketball. Saw it in the, I'd say, last couple of games there, the stretch they had. They found themselves down a bunch to Cleveland, who was sitting a bunch of guys. They had to win that game barely at the end. They were down double digits to the Wizards in the first half with a week or two to go in the season. They just mess around constantly. And my concern is how many times you can get away with spotting your opponents 10 to 15 points in playoff basketball and get away with it. And I feel like Indiana, the problem I have is that they do find themselves in the middle of these great comeback wins, but you can't keep digging yourself into these holes against inferior competition and just get away with it. And I feel like Milwaukee with Giannis, who might walk into 35 a game, I like how they played down the stretch. Bobby Portis came back, big piece for them. They might come back mid-series. I think Milwaukee's a lot more alive than people are giving them credit for. And I know that Doc Rivers is, the meme of this whole situation, but I'm not a big Rick Carlisle guy either. So if you're asking me which veteran coach I trust more late in games, it might be Carlisle by default, but not by a lot. I can see Milwaukee stealing a game or two in the series, and that could be all you need. But for the value alone, I don't see much in Indiana. I see the value only being on Milwaukee. So I'll go with Milwaukee to get the job done.
Terrell, how do you see this shaking out?
Yeah, I'm all over Milwaukee here. I didn't need Dame. This is Giannis's prove it. Like Giannis spent the last series last year sitting on the bench watching the Pacers beat the crap out of the Bucks, and he was sitting there. And you know how guys get, especially those guys that be on the corner of the rec that act like they're hurt the whole time. Oh, you lucky I ain't out there. I'll give you a bucket. We gonna beat you next time I'm out there. Like that's exactly what Giannis is doing, man. I
like Terrell's rec basketball guy character. That is, I am guilty of one of the of chirping a little bit back in my playing days, even though I had no business chirping.
Yeah, he'd be out there chirping on the sideline like you fake hurt or something, man. And so Giannis is about to come in here and prove it. Like he's got to sit there and say, "Hey, it actually would have been different last year if I played." You look at his last couple of games, or not even last couple, his whole career against Indiana Pacers. 30-point games, 40-point games, 50-point games. He has a 60-point game in there. Like he dominates this team. So I just don't think that they're going to be able to stop him when it gets to the fourth quarter. And like Scott said, look at the last 10 home games for the Indiana Pacers. They are 3-6-1 straight up in the first half, 8-2 in the second half. So how many times can you spot teams a whole bunch of points in the first half in playoff basketball before it actually comes back to bite you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because we're back in Doc Rivers is as Scott pointed out, the meme of the entire situation. And as he pointed out, he should get credit for more of those series where he got up 3-1. I still can't believe that was a real quote. I kept thinking
that's why you take +1.5.
You're right.
Because when it gets to game 7.
You cash.
But it's +1.5 at -140. I'm with Scott and Terrell. I think this is probably closer to an even series, especially if you get like a couple decent games out of Dame. That's a fun wrinkle.
Do we want him to come back?
Well, of course, there is that thing of like, what if he comes back? Is he going to be effective? What kind of shape is he going to be in? He is out for game one, but I like the narrative that, and as we pointed out, it's a narrative-driven league. Giannis needs to, reclaim his crown here. Come on, you got to win a round one series against the Pacers, who knocked you guys out last season. So, give me the Bucks for the series. Kramer, what are you doing? You taking the 1.5?
Bucks win game one, win series is plus 380.
It's not a bad dog, honestly.
But yeah, I guess I'll ride with it. But if we get to game 7 and I don't have the plus 1.5 in my pocket because I'm following you, I do like the price.
Parlay it. Just parlay it in something and play it like that.
Yeah.
Are we playing any chance this is a sweep play?
No, because
I don't see that happening.
No,
Pacers.
Neither one of these coaches can coach a closeout game. Neither one of them can coach.
That is a
God
good
help me if this gets to 7 games. I'm with you guys on the Bucks.
It's gonna. I really do think it's gonna get to 7. Like I think this is gonna be a 7-game series. I think
it's a long series regardless. But the fact that I think it's gonna be close, and the odds maker suggests it's gonna be close based on the over 5.5 number. I just don't think Indiana should be this big of a favorite when you might actually get Dame back for a couple games. I think the line should be shorter. So if you think Indiana's going to win the series, that's fine. But the idea that they should be this big of a favorite, I just disagree with because I see flaws with both teams.
Sean, give me the plus 1.5. I want to feel smart when it gets to 7.
Knuckles, and I see some of the chat. They're looking towards Pacers there. All right, Ryan, you're taking the Bucks plus 1.5 games.
My beloved New York Knicks. 3 seed, I think winless versus the top 2 seeds this season. That should work out well. Taking on the Detroit Pistons. Knicks are laying 2.5 games, plus 112 on that side. Minus 460. Pistons plus 360, 5.5. Only minus 120 to go over there. Pistons are a hilarious 140 to 1 to win the conference and 440 to 1 to win the championship. Knicks, meanwhile, 11 to 1. People must be betting on them to win the East, and 30 to 1 to win the championship.
In what world? I mean, I would if you gave me a Pacers or Knicks future, and I just picked the Bucks, but still, I'd rather the Pacers at 23 to 1 than the Knicks at 11 to 1.
I've been told there's 3 teams that can win the championship.
Okay,
so I'm not going to bet a future on any of the other ones, and the Knicks aren't on that list.
I think that.
I'm done. I understand how this is going to go. They're going to win this series and get skull fucked in the next round. Period.
Terrell, what are you doing here?
If the Knicks were to somehow actually beat Boston in a series, that would mean more to me than a championship. I would be more excited.
Terrell's going to hang a banner.
NBA championship. Like if I could sit here and I got to come back on this screen after the Knicks beat the Celtics in a series, I wouldn't need any money on it. I wouldn't need a championship afterwards. They probably get destroyed in Eastern Conference Finals after that. Like that would be perfect for me. Perfect for me. It's not going to happen, but yeah, I'm all over the Knicks here. I think the Knicks are going to win. I am really, really impressed with this Pistons squad, and I think they're super duper fun. But I just think this is the same thing that Thibodeau does, and he can win you one series against an inferior team with inferior talent. The plan of playing 5 stars all the minutes doesn't work in the later rounds of the playoffs, but it gets you one playoff series. And he beat JB Bickerstaff in a playoff series when he was coaching the Cleveland Cavaliers. And now look what happened to the Cleveland Cavaliers once Bickerstaff left, number 1 team in the East. So I think that this is an opportunity where Tibbs can actually just go ahead and beat this. I don't trust them to close out a game 5 if they're up 3 games to 1. I think that could potentially be a spot where maybe a Cade Cunningham or a Malik Beasley has a crazy game and they get a win on the road, and then the Knicks close them out on the next game. So I like the plus 2.5 games. It's really juicy right now. So that's something that I would play with Kramer's plus 1.5 on the Bucks, is playing the plus 2.5 on the Pistons, because I just don't trust Thibodeau and the Knicks in close game situations in an elimination game.
So I'm with you, Terrell. I think this series probably goes 4-2 Knicks. But I do think for me, there's enough of an interest to sprinkle on the Pistons at that price.
Over a better bet or taking the
Pistons? and that's what I was just going to say to Terrell. Terrell, for me, I don't mind Detroit plus 2.5 at minus 138, but I would rather take over 5.5 games at minus 120, just because I guess even if Detroit did pull it off, and I think there is a fun sprinkle for them on the series price, they're not going to win 4-1. That to me is like a crazy outcome. So even if you think they somehow win 4-2, or if the Knicks win 4-2, the only way you get screwed in this situation for me is if the Knicks win 4-1, which certainly is a possibility. But my favorite play of the series is probably over 5.5. Because of the pricing difference for a similar outcome. Scott, how say you? How do you see this series?
So first of all, to touch upon what Kramer said before, against the Cavs, the Celtics, and the Thunder, the Knicks are 0-10. So just for reference, they are 0-10.
They can't win. Yes. Throw it out.
But the point is, for this series, I see Knuckles asking if the Pistons have the best player. I would say no. I think Brunson's better at this point. Cade's very good. Brunson was a fringe All-NBA first-team guam last year.
He got MVP votes.
Yeah, so I think Brunson would be ahead of Cade right now, but you can argue Brunson might not be fully healthy. That can make it interesting. But I think Brunson is the better player right now. I think you're looking, though, at what I think is going to be a war between the two teams. Detroit was 3-1 in the regular season. They matched up quite well against this team. The question is, we already know Tibbs' history. Does he ever make it easy on his teams, even when they advance? The answer is no. Usually not. I mean, they had that series against Cleveland a couple years ago with the same coaches as this series, which was a disgusting series to watch. And that was probably the easiest series they've won in a while. Even that Sixers series they won, they should have won 5. Maxey had the crazy shot. The game went to overtime and they ended up winning. It wasn't easy. They found a way. DiVincenzo had that 3-pointer as well in one of the other games. And I feel like the Knicks controlled most of that series. The problem is Tibbs doesn't adapt. I think that he's extremely stubborn and that can come back to bite him in a couple games in this series. Detroit, I think, can find openings against this team. The problem is I don't trust their actual shot creation besides Cade. I don't think many other guys can create shots off the dribble. You have Sean's favorite player, Tobias Harris, you might have to rely on a little bit for the series, but Malik Beasley's had a great 3-point shooting season. Does he create much off the dribble? Not really. Does Duran? Not really. I think he got some problems there. So I think the Knicks have more scoring depth. I do think the Knicks will win this series, but it's never easy with Tibbs. I'm going Knicks in 7. I'll give Detroit some chances to actually win some home games. The crowd atmosphere should be crazy. Trying to freeze out Knicks fans from attending games by selling to people locally instead. I'm sure Spike Lee will be sitting courtside anyway in Game 3 or Game 4. But I do think the Knicks will end up winning pretty much all the home games here. I'll give Detroit enough home court advantage to hold serve. Give me the Knicks in 7 in the series.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing for me. Can they win 1 in MSG and then win 1 at home? Yeah, certainly. Or could they just win their 2 first home games? Yeah, certainly. So that the over 5.5, the path is fairly open in my mind for them to get there. Kramer, what are you officially getting down on here? Well, I do like Scott. What do you have a price for Knicks in 7? What are you seeing that at?
I thought it was 550, but I have to confirm.
Ooh, that's pretty juicy.
I think I got it up here. Hold on. Yeah, Knicks in 7 plus. I see 430.
Okay,
maybe there's better prices out there.
Call it 450. Kramer, what's your favorite?
Well, I mean, they have with Tibbs, they have the last 2 postseasons. They have won Game 1, and like you were saying, the Cleveland series was a little bit weird. They swept the road games, or no, they started on the road in that series. So yeah, I this is obvious. It's a 4-2 series.
Okay.
However you want to bet that, I like the over, like Sean was highlighting, a little bit better than messing around. Now you can take Knicks -1.5, -175.
Yeah.
I'm not really too interested in that. Maybe if I do some sort of mega, just picking every team to advance type of parlay, I'll throw their series price in there, but that just feels like a bad idea. But yeah, this is Knicks 4-2. So if you were inclined to play that exact, it's only +330. I don't love that. So just take the over. And if you want to parlay it with the Knicks, you can do that, but just take the over. All right. Next up, Magic Celtics. This one's 3.5, which is pretty hilarious. I'm not.
It's basically, do you think the Magic win 1 game or 0 games? I guess is the price point on this game. And it's interesting because in the Knicks Pistons, there's a decent price difference between Detroit +2.5 games -138 and the over 5.5 -120. There isn't that difference here where Orlando +3.5 games at -158 is also the total series over 4.5 games at -158. So it seems like they think Orlando sneaks out a game. I'm going back and forth on it. I honestly, I think your better bet of these is just to play Orlando money line and hope you hit one of those versus hitting the over 4.5. But I don't know, Scott, you see any value in this series?
I think the only option I have for the actual games here is the Celtics in 5 at plus 190. It's really tough to make an argument when you're minus 5,000 favorites to actually win the series to find value here. The Celtics, though, did end up sweeping Indiana somehow. They should have lost 2 of those games. Besides that, they lost a game in every series. They ended up losing a game to Miami. They lost a game at least one. True. They had that game. They had the series against the Hawks a couple years ago where they should have won in 5 and they won in 6. But the point is, the Celtics just have one game a series where they just decide to no-show and they let the other team hang around, maybe in comeback fashion. I'll give Indiana 1. I think the crowd environment in Orlando might be good enough to win a game. Jaylen Brown has a knee issue. They're getting some injections. Does he potentially sit a game if they're up 3-0? Maybe. We'll see what happens. But I think Orlando, matchup-wise, it's a really bad matchup for them because they don't hit any three-pointers and the Celtics hit the most in the entire league. But I do think with Franz and with Paolo, if Jaylen Brown is compromised, defensively that could be a problem to actually stop those two guys. If they have an off three-point shooting game, they could lose because they know Boston is going to attempt 50 in a game. And if they hit like 20%, they might lose by default. So I'll go with, once again, 3-point variance. I'll back Orlando to win 1. Boston's going to win the series comfortably. They don't care if they win 4 or 5. Give me Orlando to steal 1 at home. I'll go with the Celtics in 5 at plus 190.
I like that. I'm going to tail that, Scott, because that's a better way to attack.
Missoula likes to lose a game. It's good for his coaching style.
Gets his blood fired up while he watches another the town screening. Yeah, and Orlando is Boston. If you follow them all season, like there's always these, coming back to home after a travel spot or double-digit favorites. They always have fumbled the bag a little bit here in these obvious smash spots for them. So
1,000-1 win the championship, Orlando.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. 480-1 to win the conference. Like these are the crazy, like was their price that crazy before the season?
Probably not. No. Oh, maybe they were 500-1. I don't know. I will take Boston in 5 plus 190. Terrell, what are you doing here?
Oh yeah. I mean, I like the Boston at 5 angle, but I feel like you're cheating yourself if you don't play plus 2.5 games or Boston in 6 in any way, shape, or form, because the Boston Celtics have not taken teams serious at this level all season. And we'll see if it kicks on in the playoffs, but you're telling me Jaylen Brown isn't 100%. That doesn't make me feel a lot better. You look at what the Celtics have done when they were laying double digits, which they probably will be in almost every single game this series. They were 17, 24, and 1 ATS. They lost a lot of those games. So I think that this is going to be a lot more competitive than people think. And you look in the past history, Joe Mazzulla has dropped a home game, not just any game, but he's dropped a number of home games in the playoffs. And I think that them winning the championship in the last 2 series and how dominant they were, it makes you forget that they lost a game in the earlier series that they probably shouldn't have lost. So I just don't trust them to be able to handle business. And when they get to a closeout game, the Magic might give them the whole kitchen sink and win 1 more. I think you got to sprinkle a little bit more on this to go to 6 games.
Plus, that's almost plus 700.
So Boston
to win 4-2.
4-2 plus 600. All right. Yeah, you're. That's kind of fun. I like that. Yeah, I'll just stick with the Boston in 5. But man,
I'll copy Terrell.
Okay.
He has a good sense of he also just enjoys hating on Boston.
Yes,
but it turns
into. So we
good
really have to do this on our feed sometimes. This group get together. We gotta do it on our feed because I have a video.
Home and home.
Oh yeah, I have definitely a home and home. I have a video of Trae Young hitting the 3-point shot that cashed the plus 2.5 games when everybody thought I was crazy the last time I did it a couple of years ago. So we're bringing that trend back for sure.
I love Trae Young throwing the dice at the center of MSG. When Trae Young, his celebrations, I do kind of like some of them.
Was he throwing them or was he picking up the cash?
Oh, that's interesting. I think he did both. Yeah,
he was shooting. Yeah. And he usually would, sweep them up.
Well, yeah. Usually, the more violent action is the give me that cash. We're not doing anything with the futures in the East for the Cavs or the Celtics. I assume no value there.
Nah. Celtics minus 140. Nah.
I think the ship has sailed personally.
Yeah.
We probably should have gotten it a couple months ago.
Yeah. All right.
And I mean, this is the worst time to get down. You're literally looking at one of their stars on one leg.
Yeah, no, you're to your point, Terrell. If the first series goes the way that you're thinking it's going to go, I think you're probably going to be able to get a better price in the next week or so. All right, let's head over to the West. 4-5 matchup: Clippers, Nuggets. Nuggets laying 1.5, but a lot of positive juice down there. Plus 168. The series price pretty even, minus 120. Clippers plus 102. I saw this was like the big headline on NBA gambling. Media just talking about the movement around the Clippers and Nuggets series when it opened up. 5.5 is the total. Minus 168 to the over there. So expected to have a little bit of a series. I've heard nothing but love for the Clippers.
Yeah.
When handicapping this series from sharps and Joes alike, Sean.
Yeah. That being said, I'm on the Clippers. I know you and Scott gave out the Clippers earlier in the shows when we were talking about it, but yeah, give me the Clippers. Even money for them is too good of a price considering how well they're playing and considering the coach you have is an interim head coach. I get that they were pissed at Mike Malone and there was player beef, and certainly going against Joker in a playoff series doesn't make you feel good. I obviously like the over 5.5 games, but that's minus 168. So I'll just take the Clippers. Scott, remind people in case they missed it why you like the Clippers.
Yeah, so I feel like the main reason why people are going against the Clippers is because this franchise is cursed. It has nothing to do with the actual talent on the court, because it kind of comes down to if you're expecting Harden to have a classic Harden playoff series or if Kawhi gets hurt again. But assuming the Clippers are going to stay pretty much healthy for the series, they've been light years better than Denver over the last month or two, and I feel like based on that, this price is too cheap. I understand the argument that Denver is home court. I understand that Joker is the best player in the world by a mile. However, do I like the supporting cast? No. People are focusing so much on Kawhi's injury history. What about Jamal Murray, who barely came back at the end of the regular season, and he played like 2 games? And Kawhi's been playing a lot, actually, over the last month or so. Michael Porter Jr. missed some time, too. They have one of the worst benches in the league. Then they have the third fewest bench points per game in the league. You have Westbrook. That's a whole separate can of worms that could be a problem for a game or two. I think that when you're looking at the Clippers' big four with Kawhi, Harden, Powell, and Zubac, it's really tough for Denver to match up against those guys. Joker can match up against anybody, obviously, because he's a monster. Is Murray going to look great? I don't know. He hasn't played that much for the last couple of weeks. Porter Jr. is pretty streaky. We know that he tends to be very 3-point dependent, and he's not a great defensive player. We'll see how he does. You have Aaron Gordon in there, too, who also was injured for part of the year. I think Denver with an interim head coach who has not really played much together recently based on injuries against a Clippers team that went into Golden State and won in a game they needed to win to avoid the play-in. I like how they're playing. I think that they have a lot of matchup problems for the Nuggets. And even if you want to go for some defensive specialists, Jamal Murray coming back from injury just to face off against Chris Dunn is not the matchup you want if you're Denver, because Chris Dunn is a really good defensive player. The Clippers have so much depth, and the Nuggets have none of that. If you want to throw in like Amir Coffey off the bench, a couple other guys that can give you good minutes, Bogdanovich they got from Atlanta, they have a lot of guys that can give you minutes, once again, in a limited role. Denver doesn't have that. You're relying on Strother. You have Westbrook, a little bit of Peyton Watson. Their bench isn't very good. So even if Denver is able to keep this series close, a lot of their main guys have to play 40 minutes, basically. It's asking a lot when 2 of your guys just came back from injury. So I think the Clippers are in a better position roster-wise, and I think they're in a better position form-wise to get it done. This price is too cheap to me. Give me the Clippers minus 1.5.
Sean, if this goes to a game 7, you wouldn't believe it. It's Kentucky Derby Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Joker might be a little distracted.
Oh, they would have home court in 7 if you're if you're debating which way to go.
How long's the flight from Kentucky to Denver?
To be fair, they also lost game 7 at home to Minnesota last year.
Yeah, they did. You're right. Good point, Scott. Terrell, what are you doing here? Clippers, Nuggets. I see the case for the Nuggets, but I would want better pricing on it.
I mean, this is one of the bigger coaching mismatches, I would say. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's been talking all year about the nepotism of Bronny and LeBron James, and nobody's talking about Dave Alderman now has a coaching position because of his father, and he's the next big shot head coach. But you're throwing your new big shot head coach into a horrible situation where you fired the head coach 3 days before the playoffs started. Like, I'm fading the Denver Nuggets. I don't think that this is a good situation for a team at all. You have the reports that part of the firing was the special treatment of Russell Westbrook, who's only a top 75 NBA player of all time. And some guys didn't necessarily like that. I know for a fact it was Aaron Gordon that was talking. I figured that it had to be Aaron Gordon. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm good on anything Nuggets that side of ball. I agree with everything Scott said, everything you guys said. It's the Clippers are nothing for me, and I don't think this is close. I think this is the series that we could take the under 5.5 games if you want to find a way to get plus money, but you don't want to take the Clippers, who are now moving towards a favorite, under 5.5 games, because I do think that the Clippers are getting them out of here and getting them out of here early. I would be shocked if this got to 7 games. I would be impressed if it got to 6.
Assuming Kawhi's fully healthy the entire series. I have to throw that out there. Because
6 games is a lot for Kawhi Leonard.
Do they do the load management in the playoffs? Or the days off enough? Are we going to
have
a load
off are usually enough? But that's kind of the point, though, is that the Clippers, people just view going, oh, how are they going to fall apart this time? And they might, but they might get past the first round, too. It just comes down to the roster itself and everything on paper. The Clippers are the much better team. The question is, will they choke or not? I'll deal with what I have to look at right now, which is the Nuggets being a flawed team with an interim head coach, nepotism or not. The point is their coach who won a title with them got tossed aside with like 2 weeks ago in the regular season. And their GM who created the roster also got tossed aside for being incompetent. Probably not a good sign when your owner doesn't even have faith in your current roster. So I like the Clippers in the spot.
Just to spice it up, give me the Clippers -2.5 plus 420.
Ooh,
the price spoke to me.
Shot 420.
Also, smoking about weed.
Yeah, I was gonna say also they're opening. They're opening games not on 420. Take that back. All right, 3-6 matchup: Lakers Timberwolves. Another matchup that it seems like the sharp NBA betting community is mostly on one side of this. So I'll be curious. We kind of already know what Terrell thinks, but Timberwolves catching a game and a half -140 there, plus 164 on the series line, -196 for the Lakers. 5.5 is the total, -152 to the over. So expecting like all of these 6 games probably. Futures wise, Lakers, I've been told also not worth spending on, but 6-1 for the conference, 16-1 for the whole thing. Timberwolves 18-1 conference, 50-1. Just burn those up. So everyone has been leading me down the path of the Timberwolves here. I also find the Lakers don't go as far as the Mavericks. That would be just hilarious. So maybe I just parlay some series here. That's something that we could be talking about doing, but I'll let Terrell start since I know he's a simp for these Lakers, these cheaters, just loading up with their super team. But it does seem like everyone is betting on the Lakers, right?
Yeah, I mean, Luka just got this done last year. Like, he was able to handle this Timberwolves team last year, and I think that they can do the same here. I think Luka's going to have a good matchup in this one, and we'll see if Anthony Edwards is going to be able to keep going. But my handicap for the Timberwolves has been what has been for the majority of the bottom part of the season. I don't trust them in the fourth quarter, and if I don't trust you in the fourth quarter, I don't think you're going to win a lot of games. I think they can be competitive in this series for the first 3 quarters, but when the fourth quarter comes around, Chris Finch turns into a pumpkin. Anthony Edwards is forced to try to make everything happen himself, and he doesn't rely on everybody else on the team because Chris Finch doesn't put anybody in a good situation. I'm kind of out on Chris Finch as a head coach for this team. So, yeah, I like the Lakers. I think when it gets to the fourth quarter, either Luka Doncic or LeBron James has the ball in their hands, and that's way better than anything the Timberwolves are going to be able to muster up. So I think the Lakers get this done. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers make it quick, but I think Minnesota will probably get 2 games here.
Oh yeah, no way the Lakers get a friendly whistle considering they have LeBron James and Luka Doncic. Come on. And to Terrell's point, What have the Timberwolves done since last Western Conference Finals, where Luka single-handedly dominated them, and then Luka also has a chip on his shoulder because everyone's calling him fat and a lazy alcoholic. Essentially, I think they're gonna.
How old is he?
Early 20s.
25.
25.
I mean, do you think he is healthier or less healthy than the average 25-year-old?
I mean, he's
a professional athlete.
They do run around a lot.
Yeah, he can play ball at least every other night.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I think LeBron's going to be good for them. I think Austin Reeves will have a decent series.
It's a great angle. Now, a fat guy motivated because people are calling him fat. Yeah, that is a strong energy.
And JJ Redick, it is his first playoff series, so I get some concern. But to me, it's like, yeah, if Ant hits 8 3-pointers in a game, certainly they're going to be able to pull out some stuff here. But I think Lakers probably win 4-2. I'll take the -1.5. Scott, what do you like in this matchup?
So about the Luka conversation, by the way, is it like a Jonah Hill thing where being heavy is the source of his power? Like, is that kind of
that is true? Yeah,
could be.
So I am wondering, but
yeah.
Well, I was going to let you make your point if you wanted to.
No. I'm just saying you're right. There is a body type, and we've seen it all the time. Even Joker is not like skinny ripped, but they're guys who just kind of have like a fat guy athleticism. And if he was on like Ozempic, I don't know if he's quite.
Sean, way back in the day,
as dominant.
We played with a guy occasionally who I think he played some sort of collegiate ball, but he was overweight, but he could still cross up anyone on the court. And it's just
he was a great point guard.
Very good balance. They all have good balance.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's like they have good. Their calculator in their brain that calculates center of gravity and like mass. It's just like the Marshawn Lynch.
Well, and I think
it's just more advanced than the rest.
And subconsciously, defenders see as this chubby guy from overseas, and they're like, he's not gonna blow by me. He's not gonna hit that shot. And it adds to his game.
It's draft season. What they would say is quicker than fast.
Scott, what are you doing?
Yes, I'll go with the Lakers in 5. I feel like this is going to be a pretty lopsided series for me. Minnesota's a team that I just find extremely frustrating. I think they are the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the entire league. One quarter, they'll look great, and the next quarter, they're on the verge of blowing a 20-point lead because they just fall apart offensively. They gave up a 34-3 run against Milwaukee in the fourth quarter of a game they kind of needed to have. I just feel like this team, when you look at Ant, we know Ant's had a great season. Your second best option is Julius Randle in the playoffs. Good luck with that. When the Lakers' second best option is LeBron James. They also have Reeves in there, which is definitely a nice piece too as a third option. But you're looking at Minnesota, and the coaching can be a bit problematic, but I don't like them in the fourth quarter of games as well. You're looking at how the Lakers are going to dissect this team defensively. It comes down to Luka and LeBron being elite passers. 2 of the best passers in the entire league, and that could be a flaw in Ant's game. Ant isn't maybe the best playmaker for his teammates. He's more of a guy who's going to get himself shots first. And I do wonder if the Lakers are able to slow down Ant and they kind of limit everyone else, does Minnesota have enough? I don't think so. We know Gobert offensively can be problematic for his own team. We know that you're looking at McDaniels can be pretty streaky from the 3-point line. Conley's been useless for the last couple of weeks. I wonder if he's going to be played off the floor. They just have too many liabilities for me offensively. And when you're against Luka and LeBron and Reeves, I have question marks about if your offensive depth is good enough to actually beat this team. Not to mention the fact that we know that LeBron and Luka have been here before, obviously. I do think that Luka beating Minnesota last year helps with some of the game planning. He's already seen all their defensive coverages before. I'll go with the Lakers in 5. I think Minnesota might be close in a couple games, but I see the Lakers escaping because Luka and LeBron will get better shots down the stretch than whatever Minnesota's going to try to get. But I'm going to go with the Lakers here. I think it'll be pretty lopsided in my opinion. I'll give them one game. Give me the Lakers in 5.
I'm seeing plus 450 Lakers in 5.
Ooh,
which that feels like I
don't mind that either.
The spread is like plus 110 or change, and then you can also do a game 1 series at even money. I'd say the best of that. I guess just lay the 1.5. And unfortunately, the Lakers might have to be next round when they play the Warriors. Any chance there? That could be fun. All right, last one: Warriors Rockets. The Rockets, who somehow 2 seed, but also 21-1 to win the conference and 65-1 to win the whole thing. That's crazy. They're minus 1.5 plus 104 against the Warriors, -174 on the series line.
No, I think you got it.
Do I have something wrong here?
Yeah, because the Warriors are favored in the series.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Warriors are -190, Rockets plus 155.
There you go.
So I think you're backwards on all that.
It's telling you which way to go. It's telling you which way.
It's also interesting though that Houston's favored in game 1 and they're this big of a dog in the entire series. That is pretty interesting.
Hold on.
Yeah, Warriors -190 for the series, Rockets plus 155.
Oh, okay, no, yeah, the place I was pulling, I literally just had it backwards, but yes.
And then to Scott's point, Rockets are
they're like 1.5 in game 1, I think.
Yeah.
I could see that though. Like that's how I could see this playing out. The Rockets get up big for game 1. They're super excited. We're finally hosting a playoff series again. We're playing against the Warriors. We played them tough last time around. Really, really good defensively on Steph Curry. Held them 3 points. They get up for a game, and then they realize adjustments have to be made. And while Ime Udoka can make those adjustments, it's going to be the players on the court that's going to have to execute. And I just trust Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler in the playoffs way more than I trust anything from this Rockets team. I think the Rockets are actually going to make this competitive, and I think this could get to 7 games. But at the end of the day, when the last game shows up and this gets to a game 7, the bell has to ring, and Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler is on the other side, and that's dangerous.
So the bet splits for this game are insane as well. No one's betting on the Warriors.
See, I see where Terrell is coming from, but I kind of like the Warriors in game 1 just because I think there's not a lot of Rockets playoff experience. You have a very rested Warriors team, and also like a rest versus rust where Rockets haven't played in a while, and
business trip theory, right?
Golden State is coming in knowing they're a veteran team. They know in the back of their heads, hey, we win game 1, we can totally phone it in game 2.
Exactly.
I don't know. I kind of like them early to get it done. But so wait,
that's the business trip theory. You make the first game the business trip, and then the second game becomes a rest and relaxation.
So what are you doing for the series price then, Terrell? Are you just taking Warriors to win the series? Do you have a -1.5? Because I think I might do Warriors win game 1, games win the series, but I don't know. You made a good case for Rockets game 1, and certainly Rockets win game 1, Warriors win series is that would probably pay decent. But what do you have for the series officially?
So I'm not going to play the money line per se.
Yeah.
I would, if I had to play the spread, it would probably end up being Rockets plus 1.5 because I really kind of do think that this might get to 7. But I would play just for some nice plus money Golden State laying 1.5 for the money line. Again, I think that there's a good chance the Rockets might actually punch them in the face game 1 and then completely fold after that. So I'm going to wait till after game 1, get a nice juicier price on the Warriors, and then take them then.
Scott, how do you see this shaking out?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be an absolute war. I think the teams are going to kill each other. Do you want to point out, if you want to play the X-Files music, there has been some referee updating here for the injury report. Scott Foster is back from the grave. He's officially on the playoff referee roster. So he might get one of these games. Something to keep in mind. You might see him in the Lakers series too. Scott Foster is officially back in on the action. You'd have to drag him off the
court. He's been on the IR. He's been on the IR. He had to leave a game early because he got hurt.
Yeah.
But you'd have to drag him off the court because he loves the game so much, obviously, that he has to be there for the postseason. So Scott Foster will probably get at least one of these games. I think these teams are going to kill each other. I like the under in every game. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring series in general. But for my series prediction, I'm going Golden State winning Game 7 in Houston. I'm picking a very close series. I think that Houston can capitalize on the small front line that Golden State has. We saw Memphis did that with Edey. You're looking at the rebounding differential. Edey had 17 rebounds in that game. Now you have to deal with Şengün and Adams. Not ideal there. But the issue for Houston is who's going to make shots. Because you have Jalen Green, you have Şengün, you have Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks. Not exactly sold on that half-court offense. That's why I am going to pick Golden State. I do think Butler and Curry will be able to do enough to win a Game 7 on the road. The problem is how much they're relying on those two guys right now. They scored 75 points against Memphis, and they still barely won the game.
Yeah.
It is concerning for this series because they benched Kuminga, who now I guess is never going to play again. Who knows? But I don't really like the supporting cast that much. They become over-reliant on the main two guys, and that's dangerous when you're against an elite defense because if Houston's able to game plan one of those two guys to have an off night, do you have enough? I think it's going to be a pretty fun series full of back and forth, I'd say, game results, and I am going to go with 7 because of it. My prop for this series, though, I'm going with Golden State to lead 2-1 after 3 games at plus 130.
I love that.
I like that. A little in series. Yeah.
By the way, Warriors to win in 7 is 550.
Okay, that's a nice price.
And I think you were mentioning it, or Terrell was mentioning it earlier. But Rockets to win Game 1, Warriors win series is plus 270, which
not as good as I would have liked it to be. But
yeah, I don't love that as much.
You know what? The more we talk this out, Golden State, they're moving on. I'm going to take Golden State on an alt line here, minus 2.5. I think Houston only gets 1. Yeah. And you can get that at plus 260. So maybe I'll use this as my series dog. But the more we talk this out, the more I think the Warriors could win a bunch of these close games. I see Scott's Golden State in 7. I don't know, like them winning in Oakland with that crowd, with the with Butler and Steph. Yeah, I'll go Golden State minus 2.5.
It's the time of the year where we get reminded that Jimmy Butler is related to Michael Jordan, right? This is when we pull,
round 1.
This is where we pull out the side by side.
He's gonna hit
images.
A wall. I mean, his series points prop can't be that large. I mean, he could potentially average 30 for a series because it's Jimmy Butler. It's Jimmy Butler. He's that good, and I think that's the part that also scares me about the length of the series. Is what if the Warriors are just turn it on and they're just different in the playoffs with Jimmy Butler next to him?
The odds certainly think they're going to turn it on. I will. You know what? I'll do that. I'll join Terrell. I'm going to take the Houston. Actually, no. Give me. Let's be sane about it. Just give me the Warriors. Lay it 1.5.
Golden State minus 1.5 for the series.
No.
All right. We're going to talk about the individual game ones before we do. Shout to mybookie.ag where you can get in on all the playoff action. Use a promo code SGPN over at mybookie.ag. Get a 100% match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply on the deposit bonuses. Kramer, maybe you mentioned you were going to do a MyBookie money bag.
We can't forget
last episode. You forgot.
We can't forget.
The money bag, super fun. Yeah, we're doing some live blackjack streams. Get in over there. Have fun over at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And of course, shout out to Rhythm. Rhythm has it all. Golf, MLB, and of course, NBA. Perfect for the playoffs. Getting your little get your NBA modeling going. Love using my Rhythm app here for NBA playoff modeling. And shout out to Scott. I know him and Adam have been doing very well using the models over on NBA or over on Rhythm to crush some of the MLB props. Very good.
My mom is when she can't remember who to talk to. Me and my brother.
Yeah.
NBA, NFL, MLB. Oh, I don't know which show to talk about. He has so many.
You'll love this, Terrell. Rhythm likes Magic money line plus 600, plus 643. A little shock the world game 1. That would be funny. That would be fun, and it's a 12:30 tip, so you could see the Celtics being a little sleepy there. Fun long shot dog. And of course, you get the 7-day free trial. Download the Rhythm app today. Use the promo code SGPN25, 20% off monthly. SGPN50 for 50% off annually.
Is that a typo?
What?
50% off?
That
annually?
Is crazy. That is crazy because
why
not
would
super
you not
expensive?
Like what's causing you not to go annual here?
Yeah, and if you're going to use it for more than 1 month, which obviously you do with golf, with baseball, with MLB, and then football right around the corner, why would you not use it?
Math's breaking my brain. You get like months for free. It would be
6 months free.
Genius.
Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Kramer, what do we got for the game one?
It does feel like we need one bomb for the game ones. All right, 10 a.m. out here on the West Coast on Saturday. Bucks Pacers. Pacers laying 5.5 minus 220 on the money line. Plus 184 for the Bucks. 224.5 is the total. Terrell, game 1. What are we doing?
Yeah, sticking with what we were talking about. One, you should be taking the Bucks early. Bucks in the first half is the best play of this game. The Pacers have completely shit the bed in the first half and all the opportunities that they've been given, and they just kind of play from behind in the second half. So I'm not laying points with a team like that. I don't trust the Pacers defensively. I think they struggle. I like the Bucks defensively a little bit more. I'm going Bucks early, and maybe the Pacers get the win, but they're going to have to play from behind. So a Pacers 1-10 win margin would be good, but give me Bucks plus 5-1. Give me Bucks plus 5.5 here.
Scott, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think that Indiana's going to have a hard time dealing with Giannis for the entire series, but game one in particular, good luck. I think Giannis comes out after missing the entire series last year, maybe drops 40 in this game. Wouldn't shock me. We'll see what happens. People keep waiting for Dame to come back, and they're like, oh, that's when Milwaukee will make the run. Maybe they'll sneak up on Indiana in game one. Yeah. Maybe we'll see that happen, but I'll go with Milwaukee to keep this game close. I think Milwaukee hangs in there. Indiana, once again, lets teams get a pretty decent lead on them before they remember how to play basketball. It's going to be a close series. I think most games are going to be close here. Give me Milwaukee plus the points.
I'm with you guys. Yeah. Glenn Rivers, aka Doc Rivers. When does he do well? Beginning of the series. Giannis, I think, feels a little bit of pressure to get off to a hot start here. And as Scott pointed out, he's averaging like 30 something plus a game against this Pacers defense. He's going to eat, and 5.5, I think, is too much to give to a team where they can't stop their best player.
Bucks first half money line plus 155 for those who want to play it. Do I also circle this for the first leg of my money line opening day parlay for the NBA playoffs?
I don't hate that.
Which is usually how it's like the creature that comes out of the ground in Puxatani. It's how I decide if I'm going to bet on the NBA playoffs anymore. Yeah, Phil. See if he sees his shadow. I mean, you want to talk about the existence of witchcraft. The fact that this beast still defines our fucking seasons. I'm with you guys, but I think this is a money line play. I think we end up, although the NBA is crazy. I'm also going to be reminded how fucking crazy the NBA is. Watching these playing, it's just ridiculous. 20-point leads are not safe.
No.
That's actually what I should do. I'm going to start going.
Honestly,
every handicap in the NBA is I'm going to look for live trading opportunities.
Well, but seriously, if a team's down 20, fire on the opposing team, or fire on the team down 20.
Game two.
I have good news, by the way, for Kramer, because he just brought that up. There is a prop market for the series where you actually can bet on either team to come back from 20 plus, 25 plus, or 30 plus if you wanted to. I can pull that up for this series, but just give me a second.
That almost feels like something I should experiment betting on like not the 1-2 seeds, or maybe not the 1 seeds, but everything else. You just bet that you play that whatever that is. Thank you, Scott.
In this series, either team to come back from 20 down in any of the games is plus 475.
What? I've watched enough NBA. I've watched Sean lament over enough NBA games.
But is it better to do that or
just play the
just
team
wait
line
till it's live and it happens, then play that team on the money line? Because honestly,
requires me to be watching the game.
Yeah, but I would say if they're going to be down 20,
Scott giving me an opportunity to bet one time for each series.
Yeah.
See, it's also half the battle though is actually getting a team down 20. Because if nobody's down 20, you just lose the game.
That's fair. Actually, that just from that perspective, it's a bad bet. I'll wait. I'll do it live. I'll wait for better in-game.
Do it live.
Clippers Nuggets 12:30 out here on the West Coast, so that's 1:30 local time in Denver. We don't know. Do we know when the Clippers got there? Will they be acclimated to the elevation? Sean has his charts out, ready to go. Nuggets -2.5, -144 on the money line. Clips plus 122, 224.5 is the total. Scott?
Yeah, I'm going to surprise some people. Give me the Nuggets in game one. I think it's a decent spot for Denver to get up with the altitude. You're going to see Jamal Murray off of a pretty decent layoff, actually, because he's played like 2 games in the last month, but they've been coasting. They enjoyed the time off. I think when you're looking at the underrated factor here in the series, Ty Lue in game one, historically not that great. Tends to be more of a marathon, not a sprint guy. I can see Denver winning this game. I think it means more to Denver personally. I think if they lose game one, they got serious problems for the entire series. Give me the Nuggets, though, in game one. I am picking the Clippers eventually to showcase their depth and their scoring options that I think are just better than Denver's. But in a 1-game sample, I think Denver at home can get up with this crowd with the altitude and show up for 48. Will it happen over the series? I'm going to say no, but I actually like Denver in game 1.
I like Scott's take on this because I'm with you. I think Nuggets win, cover game 1, and then Ty Lue makes some adjustments. They get acclimated to the elevation. They go back 1-1. Then they win 2.
What does the series price move to after the Nuggets win?
I don't know. It's this series price is jumping.
This
around.
Is the shit that always blows my mind with the NBA playoffs because they move, but the shit that's supposed to happen happens, and it moves the number. Terrell?
I think that there's been a time where we live bet. This was a while ago, man. This is back when Jalen Brunson was still on the Mavs, where it was a little bit of a boosted price for the Utah Jazz. We bet the Mavs after they lost game 1 and they swept the next 4. That's what's going to
happen in this game. That's what's going to happen in this series, right?
That was 5-1 when we did that. So you might be, I would say, times have changed. Probably a little bit closer to maybe a plus 300 price.
You can get plus 310 on Denver game 1 Clippers series.
Oh, look at that! See,
and yeah, so I was just trying to do the mechanical parlay math, and I can't imagine we'll get to a better price in the series to make that go with minus 144. So that's the play. So yeah, I'm also with you guys. I think we learned this from the Pac-12 the Big Ten this year. When you fly to a new place, whether it's elevation or time zones, you need a couple days to get acclimated. So game 2 is when the series starts the series doesn't start until the road team wins. So the series will start in game 2 when the Clippers win.
Terrell, what are you doing for game 1? Are you on the Nuggets as well?
Yeah, I like the Nuggets too. I think that that's a pretty good angle here to look at it. And to add to the fact of now they've heard all the news, all the noise. They've seen themselves be talked at in a down light leading up to this series. I think they get up for one game. They dump the champagne. They're really excited. Coach Alderman gets his first playoff win. And then the bell rings. And like Scott says, Ty Lue makes the adjustments and he is able to learn how to really, really coach his team up in a series. So yeah, I think that Denver wins the first game. Also, I've been doing this long enough to know when I'm really, really behind a team, they always lose game 1. Never fails, always happens. And I'm so behind the Clippers to win this series. So yeah, I like the Nuggets game 1.
It does seem like the Clippers is very chalky. Pistons, Knicks in the Garden, Sean, the Mecca of basketball. They say, kind of as a Knicks fan, it's almost like the rest of the league is turning you into a parody, considering the home arena in which you play as the Mecca when a championship hasn't been a championship banner hasn't been raised there in a very long time.
73.
Again, the best memory of my Knicks fandom, or the most memorable moment of being a Knicks fan, is Allen Houston's fucking shot and OJ driving around on the 405. Knicks -7, -290 on the money line. Pistons +235, 220.5 is the total. This one tips at 3 out here on the West Coast. Sean, Scott, we got. I think the formula is we lay it with the Knicks in the game 1, and then things go to shit. What do you think?
I mean, that could be the case. You could argue about playoff inexperience. I know Detroit just looks extremely overwhelmed by the moment. Having said that, I said it before, it's never easy for Thibodeau. Give me the points with Detroit. I think they hang in there. I think the Knicks are going to win the game. I'm not picking Detroit to go up 1-0 on the road, but I do think this will be an uglier game. I like the under at 220.5. Thibodeau playoff game. Enough said. I'll go with the under. I think it'll be a low scoring game here. Plus, game 1s in general tend to be a bit more low scoring. I think Detroit's able to find some openings in this Knicks defense. They also sat a bunch of guys in the regular season. The Knicks did, so I do wonder if there will be a little bit of rust in there because they have not played that much recently. But I think for this game itself, the Knicks win, but 7.5 feels like a ton of points. Denver was 3-1 in the head-to-head this season. I'm not saying they're going to win the series again, but do I think they can hang in there in MSG? So far this season, if you want to go by the regular season numbers, the Pistons are actually 2-0 straight up in MSG so far this season. So I think Detroit hangs in there. I'll take the Knicks to win this game, maybe Knicks 1-10 if you want to go for a plus money play. But I think Detroit keeps this within 2 possessions. Give me Knicks by 5.
Yeah, totally agree with Scott. Wait, so Scott, what are you taking? You're taking
I'll go Pistons plus the points, but I'd rather go Knicks 1-10 at probably around 2-1. I got to find out what the price is.
Knicks first to 10, you said, right?
No, Knicks to win 1
Oh,
to
Knicks
10
win.
It's win margin.
Minus. I can
pull up that exact price in a second, but I do think it's going to be a closer game.
Yeah, I'm with you, Scott. I think it's going to be close, and yeah, give me the Pistons and the point. There's a chance they steal one of these first 2 games at MSG. So yeah, the 7 is a lot for this Pistons team. Terrell, how say you?
Yeah, I guess I'll take 7 with the Pistons as well.
Oh my god.
It's really Thibodeau. It's really Tibbs for me. Maybe I just need one game of Tibbs taking my money, and then I believe that he can coach this team late game situation, and they can look really good in this series. But as of right now, I think the Pistons are going to be able to keep it close. Do I think that they're getting a win? No, I don't. I actually think this is going to be Knicks all the way. But I wouldn't be surprised if this gets closer in a late game situation, and the Pistons just kind of sneak their way into a cover here. So I like the Pistons, but I don't like them confident enough to put a bet in right now.
By the way, Knicks 1 to 10 is plus 186.
Ooh.
Give me that.
Okay.
Give me that. I was gonna give out the -7, but Scott once again cultivated some value for me.
It's only value if it wins. So once again, you can blame me if it loses. So just keep that in mind.
Well, this prevents me from taking the money line and looking like a coward.
Throw in the parlay. You got a tout parlay.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that angle. Cause but I'll just stick with Detroit plus 7.
All right. Moving. I disagreed with everyone kind of in this game, which is probably not advisable considering my expertise in the NBA. Timberwolves, Lakers -4. This is the nightcap on Saturday. Any chance you're going to the game, Sean? -180 on the money line. Timberwolves plus 152, 216.5. Oh, this could be a fun surprise. The old family with a little playoff game.
Oh, nice.
Well, I would prefer to go to a Clippers game. Haven't checked that building.
The pricing will be a little bit higher, I think, for the Lakers.
But Terrell, let's walk down the path of what this number. Based on the conversation we had earlier, this number feels a little short. So what are we doing?
Yeah, it does. I think that there's a possibility with free throws that you could get over this, but I do think that this is going to be a competitive series, and that's what makes me really, really annoyed about it. With that, I'm going to my game 1 philosophy because I know I particularly am not good in game 1s. Whenever I'm locked in on a series like I am, they always fold in game 1. Give me the Timberwolves plus the 4. I do think it's competitive. I think it's going to come down to the wire. And my only issue is that I think Chris Finch isn't going to draft up the right play that they need in the last final second of the shot to go ahead and give them the win. And the Lakers are going to be able to survive. So I think that this is you think the Lakers would cover this number, but it ends up being a last second shot situation. Give me the Timberwolves plus 4.
I'm going Lakers laying the 4. Just watched a video of Luka saying he threw his phone against the wall when he found out he was traded. This guy is ready to unleash a can of whoop ass on the T-Wolves. They still don't have an answer for him. That enough for me is good to cover the 4 here. Scott, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going with the Lakers. I'll go with the under as well. Then this total's too high at around 216.5. They faced off 4 times this season. Every meeting was below 214. Sure, I'll take the under 216.5. I think that's too high of a number. I think that the Lakers are the better team at the end of the day. This game might be close for 3 quarters, but when it comes down to the late game offensive execution, I just think Luka and LeBron will get better looks. I think unless Ant goes crazy and drops 35 or has a monster game there, I will live and die basically daring Julius Randle to beat me. I'll take my chances. Give me the Lakers -4. Think they'll win this game by 10, but I do think it might come down to the wire, at least for the first 3 quarters. Then the Lakers kind of open it up a little bit, some free throws at the end. I like the under, though. This total's too high. Minnesota offensively, I think might struggle in general, and you're looking at the slower pace game. The Lakers want to play slow because you have Luka and LeBron who are older. You want to play in the half court anyway. I like the under, but give me the Lakers to win this game probably by, once again, 8 to 10 points.
Kramer?
Lakers win game 1, win series, even money.
Oh, okay. So is that? But what's your play for game 1?
No, that they win the game. Okay. But I'll lay it. I said the number appeared short.
Yeah.
This is, but in the mega parlay, this might be a money line. This might be a money line.
Is your tout package going to have the Knicks money line with the Lakers money line for game 1?
Yeah.
It might. That might be part of my official leans. It depends. Are you buying the picks or the leans? Because the leans will.
What was the other one? It was the lean.
No, the lean is Knicks -7. The pick is Knicks money line.
It was. I think it was like leans, strong leans, and picks.
Yes, there was a variation on the leans that had me dying.
The amount of people that reached out to defend that person after we made fun.
Oh, that was great.
Ridiculous. Sunday, 12:30 out here on the West Coast. Magic, Celtics. Celtics laying a big 13.5 -950 on the money line. Magic +640. 206 is the total. Sean, you said Rhythm likes the money line with the Magic. Terrell, as a hater, do you like the money line?
Well, I mean, might as well sprinkle on it. I mean, it's been good all year, especially with them as double. I told you it was like 14.
Yeah, they're not 20, good as double-digit favorites.
They're not, and they've constantly let down. They've constantly let people back into the games, and so I think this is a lot of the same. Of hey, just playing around with this Magic team. We don't know how effective Jaylen Brown is right now. We don't know if he is effective at all. They're 10-13 at home as a double-digit favorite, so they really haven't been that good to the number and being able to get this done every single game. I think that this is a little bit of a rest versus rest type thing where the Celtics just kind of do enough to get the win. If they get an 11-point win here, they're happy. And so, yeah, I'm taking the points with them and Magic here.
Yeah, 100% agree. This Orlando team, they're going to come fired up. You got Banchero, you got Wagner, you got a team that's, I mean, you saw the way they were ripping down rebounds. Like they were playing hard. Now you have Jaylen Brown with the knee thing. They might not, want to push him. They can figure out a way to win this. Now, what happens sometimes with the Celtics is they're so good from behind the arc. They just cook everything. So that's certainly a possibility, but I'm with you. I'll take the Magic getting double digits. Fading the Celtics laying double digits has been good to me all season. Not going to get off the wagon now. Scott, how do you see it?
Yes, I'm actually going to go with a bit of a bolder play. I'll go for a team total here. I will dare a team to reach 97 points. Give me the Magic team total under 96.5. I think this offense is going to be disgusting for most of the series, but you're looking at the last meeting.
That is a disgusting act.
Pretty much every time the Magic shoot the ball, that's how you feel.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
Yeah, I'm sure Randy Moss feels the same way. When you're looking at the last meeting, though, it was a game that Orlando needed to have, and the Celtics benched the entire team. Orlando won by 20. They only scored 96 points. They won by 20 points. Boston benched everybody, and they still didn't even get to 100. I think Orlando offensively has problems in this matchup because Boston can switch everyone. Horford, we know, is still playing good defense at his age. Porzingis is healthy for once. Still have Tatum. You still have Drew Holiday. You have a lot of guys who can really frustrate Orlando by switching every single pick and roll. And I do wonder how Orlando's going to score. They're a terrible three-point shooting team, which is why they might run into problems against Boston long-term in this series because Boston hits the most threes per game out of any team in the league. I think Orlando might finish with 90 in this game. Looking at the actual numbers this season, Orlando won the first meeting at home 108-104. Scored 94 in the second game in Boston and scored 96 in a 20-point win against the Celtics G League team in the third matchup. They went under this team total in 2 of the 3 meetings, and it's in Boston, and I think defensively they have a lot of, once again, problems they can throw at Orlando, and Orlando's shooting is not good enough. Give me Orlando team total under 96.5.
Dang. Thought it was just going to be as simple as just taking Orlando plus the points. But this is almost better.
Scott laid out a great case.
Once again, I'm going to be trashing my original take and just copying Scott. But I think that also works with them falling inside the number.
Yeah.
The game can be gross.
Yeah. 110 or, like 108-95. I don't know. It's something like that certainly is in the cards.
And Orlando has to make it gross because if the game's somewhat open, Boston just has so much more talent. Yeah. They have to make it as ugly as possible.
And the total reflects that they think it's going to be ugly. 206 is fairly low. So,
all right, I think we'll have a couple games in between on Sunday, and then 6:30 p.m. the nightcap. Warriors Rockets in Houston. Rockets laying a point, -116 on the money line. 213.5 is the total. Scott, do we like the Warriors? No, or do we agree with what Terrell was saying earlier and we like the Rockets in Game 1?
I think it's a really fascinating matchup for Game 1 because the Warriors had to play an extra game. They didn't look great against Memphis. They blew a 20-point lead and held on at the very end. Houston killed them in the last game by 10. Curry only had 3 points in the entire game. I think I'll go with Houston. I prefer the under. I know I'm giving out a lot of totals here, but this total's way too high. I got to read off the actual numbers this season because it kind of goes back to what I said about the Lakers and Timberwolves series. The number in this game is at 213.5. Each of the last 4 meetings this season finished below 204. Sure, these teams are going to kill each other. They hate each other. Give me the under. This total's way too high. That's my favorite play. I'll take the under in the game.
That's what it's like. That's what it's like, man. You can just get to sit back and watch Scott cook a team for like 3 minutes straight, and it's like, oh yeah.
I just don't get the number though. Like they've had 4 straight meetings, including a meeting about a week and a half ago, where one team did not reach 100 points. How are they getting to 213.5, 214? I'm not sure either team gets to 100 in this game. I'll take the under.
I'm going Golden State. I think I think they get out. They steal this first one. And if you were listening to the messaging of Steve Kerr, he was trying to downplay how important getting that first play-in tournament victory was so that they could get 5 days of rest. He knows the guys need the rest and that they're playing their best when they are fully rested. A lot of veteran dudes. And obviously Steph and Jimmy gives a chance for Steph to get his boo-boo on his hand, all good to go. I think Golden State comes out and cooks them. And then they lose game 2, but Terrell, you're going Houston game 1.
Yep. Sticking with Houston here. I think it's the spot where, again, Houston opened up and they still are a sizable dog here. What is Ime Udoka? He's a motivator of men as a coach. That's been bulletin board material over the entire week. You're a dog in the playoff series as the 2 seed. Doesn't nobody think you're going to beat the Warriors? All this, that, and the third. Like, I think he's going to get them up for this game. And then the adjustments come through and you realize that Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler on the other side and they dominate this series. But I think that they have the defensive game plan. I think the 2 Twin Towers lineup that they like to throw out against the Warriors, who are undersized, with Alperen Şengün and Steven Adams, is going to pose a lot of problems. It did in that last matchup. It really, really messed with them. They threw a bunch of blitzes at Curry, and Curry only had those 3 points. I think he has a better game this time around, but I think the result's the same. The Rockets get the win, and then the adjustments come through, and Golden State looks better in game 2.
So Kramer. Houston game 1 with Warriors series is plus 270.
Okay.
Now the other option is going to be after they win, we bet the Warriors to win next 4 games.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, I guess in theory you could take that exact whatever they have, like the exact result right now. But I would just say wait, and we'll just take the like Terrell was saying, we'll take the sweep afterwards too. But yeah, plus 270 on that one. And Scott, again, I'm not a total. Who's to say? I'm not a totals guy in the fall, Sean, but in the spring, been doing some totals in the UFL. I'm going to join. I like Scott's total handicap
under 213.5.
Yeah, playing that as well.
All right. Time for Lock and Dog. Of course, make sure you get in on our free contest, giving away $1,000. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA playoffs. Let's do a game lock, a game dog, series lock, and a series dog. Now, of course, it could be any sort of plus money price for the series. Anything you like that's closer to minus 110, evenish money for the series. And then obviously the same applies for the games. Kramer, do you want to go first, or should we have one of these guys go first?
Happy to go first, Sean.
Okay. What do you got?
We're going to lock up the Bucks plus the points.
Okay. I like that.
A lot of sharp angles towards that one. The dog, give me why not? Knicks win by 1-10. Plus 186 or whatever that fabulous price was. I think I'm gonna have to settle for 175 on that one. Unfortunately, series lock. It's got to be the Clippers, right? It's just which way do we play the Clippers? Do I lock? Let's just basic price, the whatever even money or plus 105.
Okay, and
then series dog. I think I'm going to make it the Houston wins game 1. Golden State wins the series.
Okay. Houston game 1, Golden State series
270.
plus 270. Okay. Oh man, there's so much good stuff to choose from. For my lock, give me the Lakers laying the 4 at home, getting off to a good start for that one. For my dog, I think the Bucks have a chance to pull that one out. I kind of like the angle that they steal one while waiting for Dame here. Plus 184 against this Pacers team. I get they've been hot, but I think they might be able to surprise them there a little bit. For my series lock, ooh, let's see. I mean, my series lock, I'll go Pistons Knicks over 5.5 games.
Ooh, spicy.
It's -120 right around there, -110, 115.
More spring total.
I just think it's gonna be a good game. And then for my dog price, give me Golden State. I'll do that's a tiny dog. I don't know if I want to give that one out. I'll give out Boston in 5 at +190. I think the Magic get 1, and that's about it. Terrell, how say you? What do you like here? Game lock, game dog, series lock, series dog.
Game 1 lock. Golden State, Houston under 213.5.
Ooh.
Game 1 dog. Milwaukee Bucks in the first half +158.
That's a good one.
He was stamping that earlier.
Yeah, I like that.
Pacers
series lock.
Series lock. Clippers get it done.
Ooh, don't mind that.
Series dog. Golden State to go up 2-1 in the first 3 games +230.
+230. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I think I may have.
I thought it was 130.
Oh, 130.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay, yeah. I thought Scott had that. Okay, but I like your handicap of that. I was considering doing the Golden State -2.5 games. But Scott, how say you?
Yeah, Terrell, stole my whole flow word for word, bar for bar. I got to figure out what I'm going to do now.
No, come on, let's just do it.
I was going to say, we can. I for my lock, I am going to go with the under in that Warriors and Rockets game. I have to. When you look at the last 4 meetings in the head-to-head this season, finishing below 204, sure, I'll dare you to get the 214. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Houston and Golden State, they hate each other. You're going to see a bunch of physical play. Draymond and Dylan Brooks maybe trying to kill each other. Who knows? Give me the under in that game as my lock. For my dog, give me Giannis 35 points at +155. Think that with Dame being out, he's going to have to carry. We're picking Milwaukee to keep this game close. The only way to do that is if Giannis goes nuts. So give me Giannis to drop 35 in this game at +155. For my series plays, I thought about the Clippers as well, but I might try to switch some things up because that does feel pretty, once again, easy. I'll put it that way. Give me the Lakers -1.5 games as my lock for the series. I just think they're a bad matchup for Minnesota. I'll dare Minnesota with Julius Randle as a second option to find ways to score down the stretch of games. You could argue officiating. I'm sure Scott Foster is going to be on the call for one of these games. He's not helping Minnesota, I'll tell you that much. So I'll go with the Lakers -1.5 for my lock on the series. For my series dog, what do I want to go with for this one?
Go ahead.
What?
I was going to give you an LA parlay price if we wanted it, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Continue.
I mean, for my dog, I thought about doing Clippers -1.5 games, but I don't know if I actually want to bother with that. I think I'll copy Terrell's play there. Give me the Warriors leading 2-1 after 3 games at +130. I liked it anyway. Think that Golden State gets a game on the road. You could argue maybe they'll punt game 2 if they win game 1. Who knows? Business trip. You only show up for one of the games. And I do think Golden State will win game 3 at home. So give me Golden State once again to steal home court back, win game 3 at home. Golden State 2-1 at +130.
All right. So if you did want to, LA with LA -1.5 each way. That parlay will pay out +441. If you wanted to add the Warriors -1.5 to it, that's going to get you 10-1. You maybe do a round robin there. LA with San Francisco. So maybe the California -1.5 parlay.
Like yeah, it's kind of fun. All right, toss that into the sheet there, Kramer. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you check out these guys on the NBA Gambling Podcast and the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Scott also MLB, tennis, doing it all over there on SGPN. Download the app, get all the picks podcasts for free. As always, get in our free $1,000 giveaway, sportsgamblingpodcast.com NFL/NBA playoffs. And of course, as always,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second money green. He's Ryan.
At some point, we need the vlog of Scott's day.
Kramer, let it ride.